So to get to the January trading post then, yes, some people are quite disappointed by the bonus reward. I actually think it's kind of cool. We've got the Waste Wonder set, the Scarbound, and anyone who bought the Solar Watcher's garb has been rendered a total jabroni. Because it's now here, and it's like not that okay, I think the Watchman's garb, right? It costs like 650 tendies. Whereas I'm pretty sure people bought that at like full price plus 500 tendies. So it kind of like, there's $1 per tendy here. Oh my god, we can work out the dollars per tendies. Okay, oh my god, this is gonna be so much fun. Right, trading post. Matt, let's goddamn go. First of all, let us go to the very top. Let us discuss the bonus reward. Now,
TikTok.
Oh, you've ruined it.
It's a wrist.
It's a watch.
Mounted clock.
Now, I think this looks sick. And I'm very happy with it. And it is also something new.
Does it show over gloves?
Does it show over gloves? I will reply to you January 1st or 2nd, whenever I get it. Yes, so if this doesn't go over gloves, good news. In what would traditionally be a content lull year, we all get to raise a big stink and get our pitchforks and be like, Ian has a Costas. If you do not put a watch over my gloves, we will have words in the internet.
We will be disappointed and post on the forums.
Because I was going to say something altogether more serious in a joking way, but the YouTube, they're... I think Your Honor, it was in Minecraft defense, may not work that well in the modern day.
I believe the feds have said that no longer works.
All right,
very unfortunately.
Yeah, I will gank you. Also, if you literally, it's okay to use gank. Because I'm like, you can't say I'll kill you in World of Warcraft because but to gank, that's WoW specific terminology. Now, obviously, we're not going to gank someone in real life, but if we can it would be an actual new goddamn world, a new existence for us all to live in if that watch appeared over gloves and if your hair didn't get destroyed by a helm.
Yeah.
Do you imagine? It would be a new game.
The
12 million subscribers.
The reason I asked was basically it was a rhetorical question because I know it doesn't because the memory of a Sarah doesn't go over gloves, rendering it utterly useless.
Ah!
You're walking around with like bare hands in your transmog because you like the nice wrist piece. Amateur hour, I tell you. Amateur hour. But yes.
The technology. We need the technology. Now, okay. This is us being a pair of capital G's, as the game journalists would call us.
You may need to elaborate on that for some of the audience.
Okay, fair. There was a while where everyone was calling people who play games gamers TM, with a capital G whenever they sort of disagree with the what's it called, commentocracy? Commentariat? The broad commentariat sort of opinion. So the real problem they would have here though is they can size these to a character's arm. Now, I'm just trying to think of like the in-game implementation here. As an example, one thing that Blizzard uses AI for, and this is a great thing. To be clear, I'm not against AI. There's really good uses, for that technology everywhere. It's just the problem is, used by people. What do people do? Grift. Now, they use some AI-based tools to resize helmets to different races. That's really, really good for us as players because we don't want a whole bunch of artists stuck there resizing shit. Really good example, the lightsaber fight at the end of the third new Star Wars... No, the third new Star Wars movie, by which I mean the one that came out in 2005.
Sorry?
Because, there's 3 trilogies now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, the third movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
Yes, Revenge of the Returning Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
That's the one. You know the bit when...
The lava fight.
The lava fight, right.
And Mustafar. Why do I know that? Holy shit.
Wow.
I really liked Star Wars when I was a kid, and then I grew up and started watching anime and went, that was all shit.
Based. I believe I've just done the internet right. So, the lightsaber fight, and this is connected to WoW. The rotoscoping department at ILM had to hand rotoscope those lightsabers. Now, if you remember watching that scene, especially its indulgent length, it's a lot of frames, a lot of rotoscoping, to the point where it was just this department's job for a bit is rotoscoping lightsabers. the amount of goddamn human work. And so there's like AI-based tools where you can be like, hello, this is the thing I want to rotoscope. Here is an example of it being rotoscoped. Then you hit the go button and then boom, it's rotoscoped your thing. Maybe you do some cleanup, but it saves everyone dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. So they have this AI-based tool that resizes the helms to different races, which is great because it saves artists time and lets the artists work on sorts of things that they would feel more gratified by, such as creating bits of art that, of course, we players will enjoy. So I wonder, what's our similar analogy then for this wrist piece? Like from a technical level, what do they do? Because like with something like a corsage, what you could do is you could just make like an attachment point on all of your gloves. So, if the game has got to resolve, I have this wrist item is enabled for that, and there's an attachment point for this wrist item, bam, it goes on. So if there's a little flower that can go, in your wrist, that's fine. But this has got a goddamn strap. Now, how the hell do you resolve that strap in your art pipeline? And you may be like, it's just a little leather strap, just wrap it round.
I hate to say it, 5head.
I hate to say just wrapping it. It only looks like leather. It don't work like leather. Which is just to say, like, there's obviously the thing that we would want, but I don't know how they'll. Yeah, I don't really know how they'd be able to do it because you might want to wear gloves at the same time.
It's their problem to fix. Make it look good, fine, better, please. I mean, it's a little bit. I guess a little bit different for a watch, but it is full on like. There's so many little pieces of the puzzle that is how World of Warcraft armor works as like a transmog experience. It's kind of weird. It's kind of frustrating at times, and you have to like deeply understand the system in order to actually manipulate it in the way you want. Especially when it comes to like hair and how like waists hang and things like that. And it's the thing of I hope they have plans to like resolve a lot of this or a little bit of it going forward, because gear looks fucking gorgeous, right? Gear looks absolutely amazing today. It's really hard to find a good transmog because you're almost with too much choice, especially with like how Dragonflight gear looks.
And then it's that and then the tints.
Yeah, they all look.
Ever tried those transmog shoulders from Torghast? Ever tried matching those suckers to something?
Yeah, so like we're at this place where they're doing so well on the art design of them. It's like the technicality of them that needs a little bit more work and a little bit of the specifics. It's like the broad stroke stuff is getting down pat with everyone, like especially compared to how people were mad in BFA and Shadowlands at transmogs for looking like dog shit half the time. Now they've they've been able to take feedback on and get art direction so people are happy with how they look. Well, this happy with what they want. So it's just the additional little bits of please. It's going to be hard work, but I hope they have the engineers. I hope they have like the technical artists working on solutions for these minor problems that like if you can get a technical solve for them or like any sort of solve, then suddenly you're going to have a lot more. Basically, you know how exponentials work. Things. There's the more pieces you fit together, the more you can build, the more like actual transmog stuff will work beautifully.
There's an analogy for this, and I don't know why I'm doing it this way, but I'm using a cruise ship. So let's just say you have a cruise ship, right? You can, revamp the inside of the cruise ship to increase your capacity. You can hire on more staff to increase the capacity, offer new services, new upcharges for your customers. You can do all of that shit, right? And you don't need to invent any new technology or do any fundamental thing to the ship. You can make the ship run more by, revamping your blah, blah, blah maintenance process. But what if you suddenly need your ship to have a totally different engine that works differently and a new power plant that runs everything? The only way to do that is to stop your ship and do a lot of very hard work that takes a while. And that's kind of the problem here, because any of the technological solutions, let's just say they do find a technological solution and they can make a new glove that your watch couldn't go over. Great! You've made a new glove! What about the thousands of gloves that exist?
Yeah.
How, do you update all of those? And then, if you have it working for new gloves, do you just make it so that, all gloves made after this date work, all others don't, and you never explain why to your players? Then you have to deal with customer support tickets, complaints, and I suppose that's the bit where, it's like we as customers are just like, put the watch over the glove. course, in WoW, a glove doesn't stop here. A glove stops at your fucking elbow in World of Warcraft, obviously.
It depends. Sometimes they stop there. Sometimes they stop there. It's hard anywhere in the middle, like.
Anyway, that's the glove saga, which at the very least does help us understand some interesting things. Another good parallel for that is just one because I talked to some of the people involved at BlizzCon. Obviously, not in a way I'm sharing anything I shouldn't be with you guys, but I was more just like got the appreciation of like, oh wow, yeah, like your team's doing this. That's really cool. Like upgrading all of the old mounts. Anytime I'm talking to a Blizzard person that's something like that, it's purely just social, being like, hello, I work in games things and stuff. I love your game. We all, there's no BS, no fishing for bullshit. It was just like getting that appreciation of like, wow, the task you guys have is kind of gargantuan in getting every single, or, as many as you can of these old mounts working in dynamic flight. That's so much grunt work. And evidently it's not something where they can, have the equivalent of their AI-based, helm-fitting tech that they've made. So it is interesting, I suppose. It's a little bit like, and obviously, Elon Musk, controversial figure, certainly, I think, went tremendously downwards in the opinions of most people at an increasingly rapid rate over time. The one point that they had always made is that building a prototype car is easy. The bit that actually matters, the bit that will really dictate whether your automotive startup succeeds or fails, is your ability to produce those cars at scale. So the design of the car is almost less important than the design of the factory that builds the car. And I think that's why World of Warcraft has its current, its current roadmap, because they've clearly invested the time in building the factory that builds World of Warcraft. And that's why WoW is sort of looking and feeling different.
That's kind of what Ian more or less said in terms of like his interview with Preach, talking about they're building the engine, they're building the tracks, and they can just go. And that's where they're at this point specifically, compared to when they were basically drowning under the weight of everything they were trying to do but didn't have the way to do it back in the past. Which is why I think everything's very, very kind of exciting feeling. It's like, yes, you've done the first step has been done correctly, and now all you have to do is take a load of other steps that are a lot easier. Or I'll say a lot easier, obviously. Obviously they're challenging in their own right, but they're definitely the least complicated. Because actually doing things is pretty easy compared to figuring out how to do things. Which sounds a wee bit wanky, to be fair to it, but it's also true. It's also true.
Now we get to the topic of recent lackluster bonus rewards, which I can sort of agree with, because to be honest, I know loads of people are like, oh my god, it's a goat. I squee. With December. My opinion was, that candy sword sure is expensive. That being said, we did get a tremendous value with our November thing, where, we got that Cache of Titan weapons that then included the Sargeras themed ones. So, I suppose my opinion here is I don't really mind that much. Not every bonus. I guess it's that challenging thing, right? Everything in the trading post is optional in a way other than the bonus reward. So it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't want to buy something in the post, because they don't. Like, I see 650 tender for a pet, and I think, are you mad? This is insane. But evidently to some people that's okay. Right? That gets different when they become the bonus thing. I suppose that you get.
Yeah.
Starting like as he points out, the Waste Wonder trackers set would have been cooler. I will agree. I'm not unhappy, but I would agree that the Waste Wonder set would be cooler. Some other people being like, is the average value of our bonus things going down? Who knows? Oh, hang on a second. Look at this, dude.
What?
Look what that gore's done.
What the?
No, go down. This is called potential tomfoolery. He's called a segment potential tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Does that mean that? Oh my god!
There's tomfoolery and potential. There's potentially has been tomfoolery been done to you, dear player, right this moment.
I shall not be tomfooled. Don't know what that means.
Yeah,
it doesn't work when you sort of flip it around. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying very hard to be like, I don't know who Tom is, but he's not fooling me again, but I don't really think that worked.
So time to do our Trevor McDonald, do our whatever, get our papers bang them on the table, read this incredible research report. This is our equivalent of BBC Panorama. For Americans, this would be 60 minutes. It's very serious.
I don't remember the BBC News intro theme off by heart, otherwise I would hum it for you.
There have been many items that people assumed or expected to be monthly bonus rewards, but then turned out to be super expensive purchases from the trading post.
Those bastards!
These particular items also had a custom preview shot, very similar to how bonus rewards are typically showcased, deviating from the usual dummy shot with a sepia Azeroth mount in the background. Our bonus rewards being swapped last minute and made a super expensive purchase instead. And I think I may have just went so loud that the camera was focused only on your reaction to me talking. Pog.
I apologize. I will have to immediately issue a correction because the dummy shots are not with a sepia Azeroth mount. We can't mount Azeroth yet. Her character design hasn't been revealed. Map, he said, yes. Map, he said.
Sorry, the more passionate you get about the news, the less accurate your news gets. Supplement store opening soon. So, right, we've got the jeweled copper scarab mount and the Waste Wonder Tracker's kit ensemble with custom shots reminiscent of bonus rewards, but turned out to be the most expensive items in the store. 800 and... Oh, I thought that was 650, not 850.
850? Uh-oh.
But that's all of my monthly tendies.
Get fricked, nerd.
Oh, very PC.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's a bit much.
It's a bit much, yeah.
That's a bit much now.
A bit much.
I'm beginning to feel the squeeze. I'm beginning to feel... No, it wouldn't be that I'm feeling... No, the point is I'm not feeling inflated. I am not being inflated in line with these prices.
No, I feel like an empty toothpaste tube has been jumped on.
Yeah,
like.
Blizzard, can we have our inflation raise, please? There are two similar...
That would be really funny if that's like how they actually framed it in-game and everything. That would be funny. I would like that.
Hey.
Bobby's gone, here's your wrist.
Do you know who has got to return? It's no one other than your boy, Jastor Gallywix. Or the way the way Gallywix was just in Tazavesh for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
I love how it's like, Sylvanas is willing to imagine everybody other than her boy Gallywix. What's going on? I want to know. Anyway, so this does feel a little bit, even though I'm fairly pleased with the watch, and I think the watch is cool, I do think that we have a segment on average prices later, so I will shut the hell up until I get the information from Dakor.
Have we planned this ahead of time slightly?
Well,
wow.
Not us.
Not us.
That would be creator of stream notes, Dakor. And raider of raids, and I mean, God knows what else he does.
Cooker of steak.
Oh, he posted a picture of a tasty steak he made in our guild Discord. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. So if anyone wants a husband, give him a shout. Please don't tell him I said that.
He'll be there cooking steaks. I'll be eating crickets out of laziness.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, give me my cricket powder.
Yeah.
Now, a reminder, the Burden of Unrelenting Justice is available in January. That is a impeccably named set. The Burden of Unrelenting Justice.
It's good, but my first thought is like, that's a really fancy way to call someone a simp, like.
Oh, on that. There's dialogue. I don't know if, well, not on being a simp. On the Burden of Unrelenting Justice. So
the Booge?
The Booge?
B-U-J.
We're like, how's the bourgeoisie involved in this? Oh, God. That's what Mayev's off doing. No, Maiev basically pissed off, left a warden to guard Belameth, and was like, I've got other shit to do.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about that later in the lore. So, you need 12 months in total. Matt missed November. I missed October. Fuck you. Fuck me. We'll get it in January. And many of you have got it now. Congratulations. No, we'll get it in February. Yes, you'll all get it in January if you've hit every single month. So that's pretty cool. And this will be 3 different sets. Color changing, sun and moon. But now, it is time to do the cost analysis.
Cold, hard numbers coming to you live.
From our top data scientists. We have crunched the numbers. We have bankrupted the entire company on AWS servers to bring you today's answer.
Their numbers are 144p. That's how crunchy they are.
Oh, man. Yep, fucking VGA resolution. So, the Soul and Watchman's Garb was originally sold by Blizzard Entertainment. No, this wasn't sold with bonus tendies. It was the High Scholars Pack that was sold with the... So I was wrong at the top of the show. Damn, I'm a dickhead. Right, this was sold for £13 and 50 pence, 15 USD. It was sold between the 1st of August and September 1st. It is now rotated back onto the store. And that means we can literally just calculate how much this was worth. And the same actually goes for the Guardian's big pull. What's it called? Medivh's staff. Oh, yeah, I suppose that oh.
Yep.
Look, Matt, okay, I want you to think about this in an object-oriented sort of programming sense. You know, kinds and types.
Yes, yeah.
What is a staff is of type pull. I'm just being first principles.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so when I talk about the Guardian's big pull,
yeah, I know, but
obviously talking about, I'm obviously talking with extreme precision.
I know, but Jugs is asking you to do that hand action again, so.
What hand action did I do? Oh no, the jig is up! Fuck! Yeah, big pull. Yeah. Oh, do you know what that was supposed to be? That was supposed to be like, you know when Khadgar is like, I have to make a point about the next expansion. Or, fucking Cat Bossy in Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Oh no, it's the other one who does that. No, it's I was about to call her Maiev. No, it's
Maiev.
Yashtola does that. Maiev. Very good.
Right. Jugs. We'll add a higher membership tier, and you can get that. And just be a video of him doing that, if you really want.
So, okay. The dealio here is $13.50. Translates to how much was this again? 650 traders tender. Now, this is kind of interesting because you see when I did a calculation based on the pricing of the Corsage, it came out to be about 100 tender to $1.
Yeah, it seemed about that.
This ain't as good a deal.
No.
This is a far worse deal. So if we just take our 15 divided by 6.5. There you go.
Share with the class.
2.3.
2.3. 076923077.
So yeah, dollar is
Yeah, this is
wrong way around.
A complete rip-off. Nice. Don't buy anything with your money because it'll be cheaper than tenders. But you can't buy tenders, so maybe your tender is more valuable by virtue of not being purchasable and being limited.
$1 is worth 43 tenders.
Not bad.
That's a deal. Woo. So that means let's calculate the fair market value then of our Waste Wonder set.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's 850 tenders. $1.43. So that's like what, $20 or something.
Thereabouts.
My head doesn't work.
Yeah,
actually,
mental math has gotten hard recently. Like
in a way that's really good. Like my Whoop app told me my recovery is 97%, because I slept for like 14 hours.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my god.
So I slept for 14 hours and then I popped my Ritalin that I now get from not the government but soon the government. So now my head's all like, whoa.
I'm not asking where you get it from then.
Legal. No, actually. For
legal reasons, that's a joke.
In a move shocking absolutely nobody, I got the ADHD. Wahoo. Mm-hmm. It's actually amazing being able to have a brain that can work and do tasks. Seen the 2 hours before this stream, dude?
Yeah.
Like a dozen emails, recorded 2 videos, recorded 2 sponsor segues, planned all of our shit for the end. It was crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, I played Blue Archive and made one thumbnail and scheduled the stream. Yep.
No, do not make a joke about what the people who went from an extended walk from Germany into Poland and France in the late 1930s did. There's a really good book, actually, on amphetamine use. That was the joke I was going to make, because it turns out, Rommel's people were all on speed, literally.
Imagine how fast I could catch up on Blue Archive story if I had meth.
I am sure that is something that has entered the mind of so many of you and your fellow gacha degenerates.
I also think that might be a sentence no one's ever said before. So,
well, none of them have had the balls to say it out loud in front of people. Mm-hmm. So we've got, of course, some fun things here. This is an awesome thing that we keep on going. So let us, people, examine Trader's Tender. So imagine there is another column in this graph, and that column is called subjective squeeze. And what I mean by that, and this is where it's important for Blizzard, perception is more important than reality. I don't like that is the fact as a human. Certainly, as many people in many countries look at their elections, they begin to think about that. But also in terms of product marketing, product quality. You can have the same product, put it in a more premium box, charge more money from it, give people objectively a worse deal that they will buy more often, and more importantly, that they will subjectively think is better quality and value. Because that's a lot of how people actually work. So when I say to put subjective squeeze in here, it's basically saying, even if your argument is right, the bit that matters is, when the rubber hits the road, this is how it's making people feel. And I think it's one of those times where, just to be straight up with you guys, one of the things I'm the most interested in these days, and I'm kind of like, every once in a while, I sort of choose a business or choose something, and I try to deep dive research it to understand, how it works. Most recently, I was looking at the Diary of a CEO podcast and how a lot of that stuff has been able to grow so goddamn quick. And certainly using some of those principles, our news channel is transformationally different over the last 6 months. Some of that is me doing some things. A lot of it, most of it, of course, is done by the team. Connor and Connell have been doing an absolutely amazing job just executing on content on that channel. We've worked out how to package and deliver that content. We've tweaked little things, and that's led to basically, we do the same amount of hours of work, publish a similar number of videos, we're probably getting 2x the results. Our baseline video views on that channel is now like 55, 60K. 55, 60K used to be like the top 20% in the past. So it's just by tweaking a few things in marketing and a few things for perception that essentially we've been able to unlock the value that we believe we've truly been providing for years, but to unlock that value in the eyes of the audience. And that is why for Blizzard, dealing with how this actually makes people feel is a lot more important than saying, well, if you take the total cost, subtract the cost of rotational things, and then divide it by our new items, it's the same. People shouldn't be mad. And then you're left in a situation where you think you're right. People are mad anyway. What's going to give? And then then it turns out your logical answer is profoundly useless.
There is a technicality to that, which is using knowing perception is more important than reality can allow you to basically run pyramid schemes and scam people.
It's one of those things. Some people would say that what is power? Power is capacity in many cases. And when you have good people and they have the power to actually do something, imagine, say, I don't want to say a politician, but imagine, a politician that's actually like, no, I actually do believe in this thing and I do want to make this kind of change. I'm going to go through the process to get the power to push this sort of legislation or whatever it may be that the people have actually put me here to do. That's an example of get the power, use the power for good. So it's what we see with a lot of game design, a lot of games marketing, and all of that. We see some of that power, but then it gets twisted in the evil way. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you understand the perception is often more important than reality because of how you're presenting an experience to a customer, you can then work out, I logically think people should like this and be content with it, but they're not. If you accept that it's about perception more than reality, then you can work on the things that change their perception, because ultimately, perception's the thing that matters the most. If a movie has, per its Wikipedia plot summary and, so many things, an amazing, beautiful narrative, perfectly woven and all of that, but a few small things ruin the audience perception, you're screwed. In the same way, there's another good example of this, Nolan movies. Now, Oppenheimer had legible dialogue, which I was very pleased about. That said, I did see it in an IMAX cinema. I'm very happy we have one screen of that in Belfast, which is where we got to see Godzilla -1.
That was good.
Yeah!
That was fucking good. I actually, I will bring that up later in a segment I have that's actually about World of Warcraft, but I will relent and not go too far.
So the thing there is, a lot of these Nolan movies, Nolan's just like, it is mixed for a good audio sound, or audio setup. Then you're like, Chris, that's great. And I appreciate your respect for sound design. But motherfuckers can't hear the dialogue in your movie. They don't know what's happening. They're confused and they've had a worse first experience. Congratulations. It's a little bit like that. So as we go through then, we see that our monthly allowance started off at $1,500 and the total cost was $5,000. And while in March our allowance went down to $1,000, her cost actually went down by like what, 375 or some shit to 4,600. So actually kind of went down. So the the squeeze factor wasn't that bad. Then in April, 1,000 allowance, 4,700. 14 items, 15 items, actually slightly cheaper per item. Still feels good. Now May is where things do kind of change. In May, we have a 1,000 allowance, only a 4,000 cost in the store, but we have the Guardian Pack. Now, the Guardian Pack contained within it items worth 1,000 tender in the future. How much, Matt, did the Guardian Pack cost?
In money dollars? I actually don't remember off the top of my head.
No, it's okay. I have actually got Blizzard.
It was pretty high, wasn't it? I remember being expensive. I remember going, and especially because it was not around the same kind. It was around the $13, $15 point.
Something like that.
I believe so.
No, $8.
$8. It was cheap, really.
So this is where it gets interesting. So
again, memory. Don't trust it.
If we just make up tender per dollar, right?
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, that's where I'm actually trying to sort of work us to a point here. So your tender per dollar, as we worked out with the Solemn Watchman's garb.
Yeah, it was
$40
to $4.43 or so.
And then this one was 1,000 tender for $8, which was... So the Guardians pack then was 125.
And then the corsage is about 100.
I'll work out the corsage in a little bit, so
yeah, I'm fairly sure it was like it. Because I remember you saying, I remember seeing it and going, "Oh yeah, that's like the same." Basically a unit of currency that's virtual to a cent is what they kind of aim for in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
so you can see it's like
in Destiny, a silver is a cent. In Overwatch, an Overwatch coin is a cent. You know, $1, 100 coins.
Yeah, and because this isn't directly for sale, it can just change all the time and doesn't really matter. It's just whatever they decide that day.
And then this is where it gets interesting for Blizzard. Because now you're going to have some customer, because there are people who do buy this, and we should probably be aware of what their experience is like as well. They're getting a rapidly shifting value. And you could certainly say that, you know, when they are being sold something, they're actually not getting the full picture because they don't know what its future cost would be. And that is something that we can see changes. I mean, from 45 to 125, that's a humongous fluctuation. Like, if you bought the Solemn Watchman's garb, you're getting like under half the value of somebody who bought the Guardian pack. Oof.
Big oof.
Yeah. So that's probably something they'll want to think about. Now, it is worth saying, Ian Hazzikostas recently said they don't plan on doing any more of these bundles, at least in the near term. So evidently, like, it didn't really work out. They're still going to... Okay, sorry. The bundles that include tender. So no, they will continue to do these bundles, which means this is actually more sort of important and relevant. Now then, we move into June. 16 items, 5,600, then 6,200. Then it's 8,300 in August, but we do get, in August and July, we got 1,200. And it's been 1,000 every single month, and we have seen higher and higher and higher total costs. That being said, that has been greatly inflated, of course, by the, class sets.
Yes, the class sets have been brutal.
And I was worried we'd actually have to do some work here, but no, it turns out Jordan, who does so many stats, is a big Taylor Swift fan, in case you've not noticed.
I can see I can see that. That's interesting.
Interesting, this is how I view it. I think our true proper gauge of how much Blizzard is screwing us over steadily can't be viewed until we get more months of returning items. But I can emphatically say it's not fair to compare non-returning item months to returning item months and think they should be compared in their own bubble. However, as you said, we can already see a troubling trend of total cost even without including returning items. If you remove the promotional allowances as well, it's been all below average since May, which is obviously a problem. Total cost minus returning items has, you can basically see, and we've been falling below the average more often than not. So that's fairly interesting, I think. So it does appear that like what Blizzard is saying about, oh no, it's returning items, that doesn't really seem to hold.
Yeah, it's a part of it, but it's not everything. It covers some of the issue up, but not the entirety of it. It's still actually increasing total costs, which I'm sure they're like, that's doing the most of it, but it's not. It's still inflating a little bit, thus making your experience as a player notably worse as you go.
Jordan points out that we've basically, we've been dealing with if it's a sword that cuts in two edges, we've been dealing with the sharper edge for 8 months now. I saw some of the comments on your post and wanted to find the best way to spin it for Blizzard and still couldn't spin it well enough to make it respectable.
You always know when you're like, I will defend this company for, playing devil's advocate.
Oh, we're involved in this.
All right.
Yeah, because this is... Really? Click on the thing. Click on the thing. Can they see that?
I can't see that.
Never mind. I'll bring it here. I'll just drop it in our doc so that everyone can see it. No, Groxy posted one of our images. And this is what it's in a response to. So, of course, Dakar on our team, he tallies this up every month. And, so Jordan had some questions, decided to then go in, do some further analysis, and ultimately finds that there's not really a way that this can sort of look good for Blizzard. The broader context here is they said that it isn't really getting more expensive. We're sort of seeing data suggest that's not true. Now, am I necessarily saying that, I believe this was Ian Hazakostas and Jeremy Fiesel? I am not saying that either of them are lying in an intentional way. What I would say is that's a team of 600 people. There are so many moving parts, so many variables. There you're dealing with top-level directorial staff. They're not going to be clued into every detail all the time. So you could probably have a situation where, as far as they're concerned, the plan is to not inflate it. But then it does end up being inflated whenever it comes out the other end. Maybe this then is something that Ian and co should have a look at so that they can make this situation be better in the future. Worth noting, Ian did say that they were planning on having some other ways to get tender as well. Mm-hmm. And that's basically that. I mean, we can actually go and look at the stuff because I've got to say, like, there's some really, if you keep on going down, just for the previews. That's nice, so this scarab is beautiful.
I don't know. I don't like Terraxes. I don't like big mounts. Weird enough.
Damn.
I like the ones that, like, the size difference between you and the character make sure it's like silhouette more like visible, and it seems like closer to your character. That's why I like flight form so much. Interestingly, because like that looks fine.
I see.
The scarab looks fine, but I know that would like you'd be tiny there, and that looks terrible. Which is weird.
Basically, you want a mount that you could feel more comfortable using in a bullet hell.
I want a mount that is more reminiscent of when you're just running around on the ground on a tiger, basically.
I see.
That's why I like Invincible and the Wrath time walking mount so much. And basically flying horses because they're small.
They're nice.
I don't like big dragons.
So we got these. We then have a very nice looking salamander pet. Going into the armor, the Waste Wonder Trackers set. I think this looks quite fantastic if you want some of your Mad Max and WoW. Obviously, though, $850, pretty expensive. The Solemn Watchman's Garb, originally sold for $15, now available for $650 Traders Tender.
I love looking at this and going, why is that $850 and that $650? That's nice. And that's fucking... That's... I mean, it's what it's supposed to be.
Leveling gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for leveling gear, I think it's quite nice. Like, it does actually sort of look, I don't want to say realistic. That's definitely not realistic, but it looks kind of believable. You know, it looks a bit lo-fi, which I like. But yeah, it's definitely too much for that. And it was way too much for the money they asked for. Witch Doctor's Fetish Frame. Looking quite fantastic.
Very good.
Totems.
That don't match any torn color ever. But yeah, they're nice.
They're pretty saturated. They look nice. We do, of course, have some Blade Masters beads.
Again, Blizzard, can we please have a discount on recolors? Can I buy this for $250 and then buy this for $125? Because I don't want to spend $500 on the both of these. Come on, sort me out.
A lesson. Again, hello, Mr. Hazakosis. Actually, a lesson that they could, and I don't want to say learn from the Warcraft Rumble team, but the Warcraft Rumble team, basically it's like little gacha store thingy. You when you buy a thing, you know what? It's actually too much to explain here. Basically, the store itself is a thing that you can interact with to get a better deal for yourself by like rearranging things and playing basically a tile game where each tile is a purchase. That might seem... You've looked at Rumble, right?
I played it for approximately like 30 minutes.
You looked at the store?
You
know the 3x3 grid?
I didn't know you could rearrange them.
Yeah, so you can swap them around. And whenever you buy something... Does Marvel
Snap do that?
Maybe. Whenever you buy something, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say it's in the top left. Everything in this row and that column will be destroyed and replaced by a new thing.
Yes.
But then you can swap the positions of things about. Mm-hmm. So you can actually move something from here to there so that whenever you buy a thing here, it will delete that because you don't want it and you want it to be rerolled. And what I'm saying there is an interactivity in that store experience that they have evidently tested and found that some people can, get engaged by. So a version of the trading post with a recolor discount would... very obviously that would be more interactive, and I think people would probably engage with that more.
That would be really cool if you could also...
It'd be hard to track month to month, though. No, take the gloves.
No, I wouldn't. Do you have one of these items in the list? Done.
Okay, never mind.
And the other part that actually would be fun for that is you could put items in the store that are recolors of existing items that aren't
already have
trading
item.
post. So if you want a discount, go farm it out first. Go farm out the recolor, then buy the one.
So this is all, honestly, I know it's a bit patting ourselves on the back to say that's smart, but that is smart because that's adding a layer of interactivity within the experience. Guys research the IKEA effect, all of those things. I don't know how they're able to track these things, but I think you're onto something. We then have, we have a hat, we have a tabard, we have...
we've got the chest piece.
Chest beads.
The chest piece that goes around your neck, which people are a bit annoyed by. Because it'd be very cool to have that. Again, like with the watch thing, it'd be very cool to have that on top of your gear, but it's a chest piece because it's supposed to be a chest piece because Blade Masters go topless.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Blade Masters basically being like kind of samurai-inspired orcs.
They're samurai orcs. Like,
yeah.
They're samurai orcs.
And then we just have some more sort of simple pieces of gear before we get into the weapons. Certainly. Now, I suppose it's annoying.
Nice. Keep close.
Why
are my favorite items always the...
Hang on.
Cloaks?
Dude, look at that carbine. Now, I you know what happened, right? I looked at the carbine. There you go. And then I looked at the runes and I went, oh, no. Oh, no. Don't.
It's the Jailer's gun.
No. Not Jailor.
So, Blizzard...
it's a really nice model, though.
Blizzard modelers and artists and texture artists, please stop putting runes on things if they look anything like the Jailer's runes because every time people get upset. They don't get upset at you. They don't get mad at you. Or they just get like a little bit of, just like, how do I even describe this? They just get like a few points knocked off their mood that day. Just by magic. It's just, oh yeah, the Jailer existed. Wee bit gone. Like a decay aura around a sim. Just walking around, just like, yeah, it's just things are a little bit worse now. So I remember that the Jailer exists. Which is annoying because they're cool, but like, I guess that's a problem of not having a proper, Stochastic angst. Okay. So I feel like there's maybe something they could do in terms of having different unified rune sets and things for magic types and things like that. That would probably go down a little bit better than every time someone puts a scratch on an item, we all have a collective mental fucking breakdown.
All of the no. I mean, what would WoW be without the collective mental breakdowns? It would kill the game.
Exactly. I completely agree.
So to keep on moving down, we got some other nice things. Nice splitter. Ooh. Big Scarby boy.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah. This Witch Doctor's Fetish Guard, that's going to look so good in some characters. Like with some Mogs. That's really cool. And the wallet's also pretty nice, actually. Have that in your brand gold. Thing is, though, 400 tendies for the wallet. I mean, this is all quite expensive. You can buy 2 of these weapons. Maybe. Because, like, if you buy the Soul Burner Bardiche, you can't buy the Marshal's Carbine, at least for the money you're getting this month. So that is just to say, Blizzard, we need more ways to get tendies. This does kind of feel a little bit inflated, to be honest. I think at least, I don't know. It's too much money.